Excellent. Once again, hello there and welcome. I'm going to be sharing some very interesting information with you today. First of all, welcome and thank you for joining me in this space to take a look at what is going to be an introduction to the principle of polarity. I feel honored to have you here with me today and to have the opportunity to guide you through this enlightening journey. My name is Rubisel Monterrubio. The principle of polarity is actually one of the 7 fundamental truths in the Hermetic tradition, along with mentalism, correspondence, vibration, rhythm, cause and effect, and gender. These principles form the basis of Hermetic philosophy and serve as a guide for personal transformation. But it's important to note that these principles are not just words. They are meant to be lived and experienced within yourself. If this is your first encounter with these teachings, prepared to be challenged and be ready to transform your reality by applying this principle in your life. Let's begin. Have you ever considered the idea of opposites and how they shape our perceptions of the world? This is the law of polarity, a fundamental principle that asserts that everything has an opposite, an interdependent, and coexistent. The law of polarity postulates that all things in existence have two sides, two opposite poles with numerous variations in between. This concept is evident in the presence of opposite pairs such as light and dark, hot and cold, positive and negative. These opposites can be seen everywhere, and each manifested thing has two poles. Now, this principle can be observed in various aspects of our world, from the daily cycle of light and darkness to the changing of seasons of summer and winter. All things in the universe possess a dual nature with opposing forces that share a similar essence but vary in intensity or vibrational frequency. So let's examine some examples that will hopefully allow us to gain a deeper understanding of the law of polarity. Now, to fully understand the concept of polarity, it is important to consider its impact on 3 different planes: the spiritual, the physical, and the mental plane. Now, keep in mind that spirit and matter are 2 sides of the same coin, with varying degrees of vibration that determine where we are on the scale. Both science and philosophy agree that everything is energy, which facilitates the understanding of how spirit and matter can be opposite poles of the same thing. So let's delve into some examples, first from the physical plane. Now, on the physical plane, the principle of polarity can be observed in various phenomena. For example, the polarity of a magnet with its north and south poles. It is a classic example of this principle in action. Every magnet has 2 opposite poles, and they attract or repel each other based on their orientation. The principle of polarity highlights the fact that heat and cold are essentially the same thing, with the difference being only a matter of degrees. In a thermometer, the distinction between heat and cold is a matter of perspective. Where does hot begin and cold end? Or where does cold begin and hot end? It is a matter of perspective. There is no absolutes. The law of polarity goes beyond recognizing opposing poles like light and darkness, heat and cold, and positive and negative. It states that these opposites are interconnected and mutually dependent on each other to exist. Without darkness, light would not be understood. Without cold, heat would not be understood. And without negative, positive would not be understood. There is no absolute standard. Everything is a matter of degrees. The principle can be seen in other aspects of our world, such as east and west. If you travel eastward long enough, you'll be coming back from the west. Hard and soft, it's all a matter of perspective. Small and large, etc. It's all a matter of perspective. By understanding the principle of polarity and how it operates on different planes, we can gain a deeper understanding of the interconnectedness of all things and the underlying unity of the universe. Let's look at the mental plane. Exploring how the law of polarity applies to our emotions, relationships, and decision making reveals that even seemingly opposing emotions of love and hate are actually interconnected. In our daily lives, we often experience this shift in emotions unconsciously. The same is true for courage and fear and other emotions. When we experience love, it is common to assume that hate is the complete opposite of that emotion. But in reality, they are two sides of the same coin. And the intensity of these emotions varies depending on various factors. Similarly, fear and courage are not absolute, but instead, they are on the opposite end of the same spectrum. We can easily shift from one to the other based on our perception of the situation at hand. In decision making, the law of polarity can also be useful. When faced with a difficult decision, it can be helpful to consider both sides of the issue, even if they appear to be in opposition. By doing so, we can gain a more balanced perspective and make a more informed decision. So, overall, the law of polarity teaches us that everything in the universe has two opposing poles, and that these poles are interconnected and interdependent. By recognizing this principle, we can gain a deeper understanding of the world around us, as well as a greater appreciation of complexity and beauty of existence. This principle sheds light on the spectrum of emotions we experience. Each emotion has its counterpart. This is so important because this helps us better manage our feelings and make informed decisions. When you understand that love and hate are part of the same essence, you can shift one to the other. Our reality is shaped by our thoughts, words, and emotions, or our mindset. By harnessing the power of visualization and imagination, we can change our perspective and improve our lives. By embracing the law of polarity, we gain control over our thoughts and emotions and can consciously change them in the desired direction. When we understand that every situation has its opposite and that these opposites are interdependent, we can approach challenges with a more balanced perspective and find opportunities for growth and transformation. In conclusion, the law of polarity is a powerful concept that can impact our emotions, relationships, and decision making. By recognizing the interdependence of opposite forces and embracing this principle, we can enhance our ability to manage our emotions, improve our relationships, and make informed decisions. So, as you reflect on the opposing poles in your life, keep in mind the potential that this principle has to positively influence your experiences. Thank you for your time. I hope that this introduction to the principle of polarity or law of polarity will serve you. And if you have any questions or comments, my name is Rubisel Monterrubio. My contact information is available on the screen. For now, that is all that I have for you. Until next time.